Good afternoon, Mustang fans. We are coming to you from Plum High School baseball field in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It is senior night for your Mustangs. 10 players will make their last appearance on this field for a regular season game. Today we have the Central Catholic Vikings and, of course, your Plum Mustangs. Plum obviously just won their section by beating Franklin Regional on Thursday. Once again, good afternoon. My name is Logan Carney. Alongside me is Joe Nania, Richie Rossi, and TV production teacher Mr. Todd LaVarse. Guys, what do the Mustangs have to do in this game to ensure a victory for 10 of these guys for their senior night? I'll start with you, Joe.
Well, Logan, I think it's pretty simple for the Mustangs. They got to keep doing what they've been doing. This team is 15-2, and both of their losses were close. I mean, this is one of the best teams in the Whips. As you know, and your brother plays on the team, they just got to do what they get their coach to do by Mr. Carl Vollmer, who we know is an excellent coach.
Yeah, just to echo what Joey said, like you said, they're 15-2. All they really have to do is get the ball in play, get some hits, and play sound defense, and they'll get a win today.
Guys, today we will have Ian Miller on the mound for senior night. Philip Marr, senior, is unavailable for today's game, so we will not see him pitch. Hopefully he can get a chance to pinch hit in being his last game. For Central, they will be pitching number 5, Carlo Cantanio, excuse me, I apologize. He will be pitching today, and as number 13, Chase Troutman starts the game, we will have our first pitch.
And Logan, today catching for the Mustangs is the always reliable Jake Matolo.
That will be his second senior day this year. As we got to cover him at senior day for basketball.
Correct.
And as the game is underway, the first pitch will be a ball 1. 1-0 count to start the game. And Joe, you obviously got to experience a senior day this year. I was down on the field today. I got to see all the emotions that will be going on. What was your experience on senior day? It's a ground ball to the third. Hold that thought. Played as a first, and there will be one down for the Mustangs.
As your brother, Austin Carney, a fellow senior, throws out Troutman. Logan, the experience of senior day, there's really nothing like it. It's your last time on your home field. Right behind us is the football stadium where I had my senior day, but it's really no words to explain it. It's a lot of emotions, a lot of hard work. A lot of these guys have been playing together since they were 8, 9 years old in tournament leagues, you know.
It'll be a fly ball down to center field. And Kirilov makes the catch. So right out of the gate, the Mustangs get the first 2 guys out. That was right fielder number 14, Ryan Sparuvi. And now up will be the catcher, number 7, Dominic DiCasio. Dorenzo, I apologize. That was a R, not a C.
And just Dom Dorenzo is a very high-rated prospect. He's batting close to 500, Logan. He's by far Central's best player and hitter.
We cannot read our own writing up here in the booth. As the first pitch is strike 1 on Dom. Of course, the Mustangs have a great prospect of their own.
Kirilov, who just made that last catch.
He plays the second pitch. It will be a strike, so the count is now 0-2. And yeah, as we like to see, Kirilov, his dad, coaches baseball. He plays in the U.S. Nationals team for his age. He travels around the country. And you talk to any of the guys on the baseball team, a lot of them think that he's going to get drafted right out of high school.
He really is incredible. Just watching him last year, this is the first baseball game I've seen all year. Watching him last year as a sophomore, he's truly an incredible athlete, very gifted on the mound, and he can hit. He's, according to Philip Marr, who I talk to every day, and about the team, he's batting over 500. I mean, he's just hammering the ball.
Yeah, I looked up the statistics as the count is now 2-2. I looked up the statistics recently. He is batting over 500. This was not counting the Franklin game, I did not get a chance to see that, so I don't know if his average dropped or rose. But coming into the Franklin game, he was batting .515 on the year. And there was a game, and it'll be strike 3 for Ian Miller, and we get a 1-2-3 first inning. So halfway through the first inning, still 0-0. The Central put up nothing, and Ian has his first clean sheet of the game.
And
now,
that was a great inning for Ian, Logan. You got the top 3 hitters for Central's team, and just 1, 2, 3, less than 15 pitches, Ian was out of that inning.
Guys, as we like to see, Central always has a good baseball team. So see him get the 1-2-3, like you said, Joe, is huge going forward. And to get back on the Kirilloff thought, I've seen him play every single year, as my brother is on the baseball team.
Right.
And every year he just gets better and better and better. There was a game this year, it was against, I believe, Alderdice. The final score was 4-2, and guess how the Mustangs got their 2 runs?
I'm going to guess Kirilloff.
2 solo home runs by Alex Kirilloff. He can hit, he can run, he can throw. People like to throw out the term 5-tool outfielders, 5-tool players. This guy has a chance to be one of the best in the league. And even though Whitfield competition isn't as good as it is compared to other places, Kirilloff has been demonstrating the skills of a 5-tool outfielder throughout his whole time here at Plum. Like we said, pitching for Central today will be Carlo Cantania. I apologize on my pronunciation earlier in the game. Like I said, I don't have the best handwriting in the world.
We were rushing. We were rushing to write that all down.
Leading off for the Mustangs will be shortstop number 12, B.A. Brian Albert. Brian Albert, she shows very good defensive skills. He's one of the best hitters on the team. Has a lot of power out of the leadoff spot. Can drive to the gaps in the center.
Brian, as we know, a senior playing on his senior day. Love to get something going with a leadoff hit here for the Mustangs.
The first pitch is a strike. 0-1 the count now. And guys, like you just said, Joe, it would be big for Brian to start off strong here as he hits this one down to the shortstop. And it will bounce and go behind the plate, and Brian will reach on an error. That was number 24, Antonio Fabrano.
Right off the heel of his glove there, Luke.
That is something you don't want to start out the game.
Especially against these dangerous Mustangs. You got Kirilloff coming up in 2. You just don't want to get into it with the Mustang lineup.
Now up will be the right fielder, number 23, Ethan Weinsberg. Ethan, another junior. And there'll be a strike 1. And guys, we see 10 seniors graduating today. Of course, they're all very good players. They've all performed very well on both the offensive side and the pitching side so far throughout their careers. There is a lot of talent coming up, especially in this junior class we have, as that will be a ball 1, so the count will now be 1-1. Guys, Ethan Weinsberg, of course, we mentioned Alex Kirilloff, Taylor Vivino, all guys getting significant varsity time. What are your thoughts on the Mustangs' future, Joe?
The Mustangs' future is bright. There's a lot of up-and-coming stars, even though we're graduating 10 this year. You got Weinsberg, as you said. Tommy Zuma is a good player. You got Vivino. I mean, just countless numbers of options.
Well, that thought the ball gets behind the catcher. B.A. will move up to second base. No outs now. Runner on second. Ethan's still up. The count is now 1-2.
And Logan, Plum's been known for great baseball teams. We have a great youth program just down the road. I mean, Plum is known for baseball.
Of course, we enjoyed one of the greatest sports season all across our school this year.
Oh, fantastic year.
As the ball will be fair down the third base line.
Alberts is going to score on this.
He's going to get home, and he will score standing. RBI single for Ethan. It looked like a single as it was tough play for the third baseman, number 9, Joel Schaefer. And the Mustangs score first today, 1-0. Still no outs, and now up will be the center fielder, number 19, Alex Kirilloff.
This is the guy we're so high on. I mean, let's see if he could prove us right here.
From the stories that I heard, his dad has a training complex. he is homeschooled, so he spends a lot of his time practicing baseball. And that'll be a strike one. And from what I've heard from players on the team, he said that if he gets drafted in the early rounds, like a lot of their players say he will, then he will sign no matter the money. Otherwise, he committed to
Liberty University.
And Ethan Weinsberg with a stolen base. He will get into second. And again, we see the Mustangs get a man on second early in this ball game.
And Logan, just from that steal, you see the speed the Mustangs have.
Of course, Ethan plays outfield a lot when he's not on the mound pitching. He sets, he throws, and that'll be hit into the gap. Kurloff, and he's going to throw it home. Strong throw in, and he will stand in.
Wow.
He will run in standing. 2-0 now for the Mustangs as Kurloff drives one home.
I mean, you just see his swing, Logan, and it's so pure. It's something you'd literally see in the major leagues.
And guys, if there was an MVP on this team, it would be him. And now up will be the first baseman, number 16, Nick Spud Satovich. Of course, you guys all know him as Spud.
Right.
So he did the football games and the basketball games with us. Tall, lanky left-hander. And it'll be ball one. He is a good pitcher. I have not received word if he is available to pitch today. I know Philip Marr is not. And I assume Kurloff will not be pitching since it is not a section game and he is not a senior. And a strike inside. That's what it looks. It looked a little inside. So they will call it a strike, and the count will be 1-1. Now, guys, you guys are both seniors. Joe, I already talked to you about your senior day. Richie, what is your thoughts on this last school year for you?
Well, I mean, it's probably, Joey can agree with this. It's pretty much been the best year of our high school career. There's a lot of fun stuff. You get a lot more privileges as a senior.
Right.
I can't wait to enjoy those privileges.
Next year, Logan, next year.
And they'll be fouled back. The count is now 1-2. Still no outs here in the first inning.
I mean, with the senior picnic last week and stuff, I mean, it just feels right, you know. We're ending the school year, bigger and better things for a lot of these guys.
Joey, we have a lot of pictures of you enjoying that senior picnic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there'll be a fly ball down to left, and it will be caught. So there's the first out for Central. It's still 2-0 Mustangs. 1 out, runner on first. And now up will be another senior, the designated hitter for today's ball game, number 18, B-Dog, Brandon Williams.
A lot of power from B-Dog. He could smoke it out center.
So we saw there was a game early in the year where B-Dog did crush one. I believe it was the first game here at Mustang Stadium. Of course, we saw, I got to see them down in Florida, and they play against a team, and Kurloff will get a stolen base standing. The ball just got away from the catcher there. I believe that was a ball. They've yet to put it on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it was pretty much in the dirt, Logan, so let's call that a ball.
Well, you don't know. He sets. He's checking the runner at second, and he throws. And we have a fly ball down to right field. And Kurloff will come around, and he's going to score. Wow. He will get there standing, and the ball will get by the catcher. B-Dog trotting down the second, and he will get in. He will slide into second, but it doesn't matter. He gets in standing. And the Mustangs.
Even though that got away from the catcher, that was an excellent throw from right fielder. I believe that was Ryan Spruvy. Great throw by him, even though it got by Dominic Dorenzo.
Yeah, and we talked Dorenzo, one of the best prospects in all of Whippy-Oles.
A little bit of sloppy play for him so far.
Yeah, 2 balls, I believe, got by him. Caused 2 runners to advance now.
2 stolen bases. He struck out in the first. I mean, this is a good Mustangs team.
The depth on both sides, offensively and pitching sides for the Mustangs, is one of the best in Whippy-Oles. As I believe they're now up to number 2 ranked. As my brother, Austin Carney, will foul one back. the third baseman today, number 20. And like we said, you know, they have a lot of talent, great youth program, and they're probably the deepest team in Whitfields, arguably, as they are number 2 ranked as of right now. The pitcher sets. His eyes on B-Dog at second, and he will throw. Austin will foul this one off. Count is now 0-2. Of course, Central's good in just about every single sport. So how big, even though this is not a section game, going into the playoffs, how big is this win?
This is a big confidence booster if the Mustangs continue to pour on here. I mean, in a lot of games, the Mustangs have blown out their competition. It'd be nice to blow out a team like Central to get that confidence rolling going into the playoffs.
And it'll get by the catcher again, and B-Dog will now move to third. Still 1 out. That'll be the first ball. Count is now 1-2.
And the third pass ball for catcher Dominic Duranto today.
That's right, Richie. He's just not looked sharp in this first inning. And he's getting the signs. He sets. B-Dog leaves off the third. And now we'll run in and hit him. And now we've talked about the pass balls for Duranzo, but how much of this is on the pitcher, Carlo Cantaniana, after that hit batter?
3 balls in the third, and then he hit a batter.
Number 10, Nick DiPastino. I believe he's playing left today. They announced him right over the round speaker, but they also been announcing Ethan Weinsberg as right. And he looks to bunt. Austin will run down the second, and they will throw to the second baseman and let Austin run into second. So now we got second and third with just 1 out.
Coach Carl Vollmer loves that game. He loves the show bunt, get them thinking, maybe throw down the second and maybe even steal B-Dog to home. That didn't happen that time, but now we got 2 runners in scoring position. Great call by Coach Carl Vollmer.
Yeah, like we've seen throughout the years, that ball is inside.
Gotta love to play the small ball.
No, they believe it was a strike. They did not see the signal from the umpire. This counts now 0-2. It's like we've seen all year, Carl Vollmer does like to play small ball. Loves stealing. And that'll be a pop-up down to the first base line. And the second baseman will make an over-the-shoulder catch. As it looks like they had some miscommunication out there between the second baseman and the first baseman. That was Nick Lacara with the catch and Patrick Ferguson covering first base. Now up, one of our favorite seniors, the catcher, number 17, Jake Matolo, in his second senior day. And here's the pitch. Jake will bunt. Now there's 2 outs now. We did just talk about how Mr. Vollmer loves a small ball, but how do you feel about them bunting right now?
I think, Coach Vollmer is trying to get them off guard. You aren't really suspecting a bunt with 2 outs and 2 runners on, but, Jake's got speed and maybe have... and
Jake drives one to center field, but it will go right to the center fielder, and that will be the end of the inning. The Mustangs score 3 after the end of the first. Mustangs 3, Central nothing. Now, Joe, please finish that thought. I apologize for interrupting you.
Oh, no problem. But, Coach Vollmer was just trying to get him off guard, maybe have the third baseman play up a little bit, make it a little harder for a reaction if Jake was to hit a hot one down the third. But,
yeah, as we saw,
he ended up hitting one to center, hit it pretty good, too, but right to the center fielder.
As we saw, the third baseman was playing B-Dog, playing the man. And we have an update for the Pirates and Cardinals game that you will know the outcome of when this game is broadcasted. 0-0, top of the first, just getting underway there. Another big sporting event tonight. Guys, who do you have? Mayweather, Pacquiao?
Logan, I got Pacquiao, and I'll tell you why. Because I can't stand Mayweather.
I'm rooting for Pacquiao. I'm rooting for Pacquiao.
I do think Mayweather will win, but I am rooting very hard for Pacquiao.
Rooting hard for Pacquiao. Mayweather, at this point, looks like the better fighter.
Oh, absolutely. Mayweather is an absolute tank.
Oh, guys, Pacquiao, his last 3 fights, I believe he has won all of them. I don't know if his knockout, when he got knocked out by Marquez, was 4 fights ago or 3 fights ago. 3 fights ago, but he has looked very good his last couple of fights.
And Pacquiao's just like one of those athletes that he doesn't really give you a reason to not like him.
Right. I feel like Mayweather gives me a reason to not like him.
Yeah, I mean, he's like your Derek Jeters,
Right. Pacquiao is just a class act guy.
Now, leading off for Central this inning will be the 3rd baseman, number 9, Joel Schaefer.
Just got that echo from Mr. Tom McGuff in the booth there.
always doing a great job over there.
Ian looks to pitch. He will deliver. And that'll be a line drive into center, and Joel will get the first hit for the Central Vikings.
Nice piece of hitting there by Schaefer. He was expecting fastball first pitch, and that's what he got.
Now up will be the first baseman, number 41, Patrick Ferguson. They announced catcher on the loudspeaker. We have first baseman here in the booth. Runner taking a small lead off of first base. And Ian will throw over there. He will slide back in.
Just a little throw over to let him know that he's thinking about him over there on the mound.
And he's still leading off small. Ian will pitch this time. And that will be a hard hit. And, and he will trip while trying to recover the ball. It looks like he lost it in the sun. And Patrick Ferguson will reach first base.
I think that was D. Pastino out and right.
Yeah, we believe D. Pastino out right with Ethan Weinsberg in left. Now up will be the designated hitter, number 44, Alex Hundiak. Runner in first and second now. The Mustangs got themselves in a little trouble. Ian will throw. And that'll be a ground ball to the shortstop, and it will bounce off of Brian Albert.
They'll get one, though.
And yes, you are right. They do get the guy at second. Now we have first and third with 1 out, and stepping to the plate will be the center fielder, number 32, Matt Monroe.
Got to be expecting the shortstop and second baseman to be ready for a double play here.
One out here in the top of the second. Runner at first and third. Your Mustangs lead it 3-0. Ian will step off the mound.
Recollect himself there a little bit.
I know they canceled the third to first move in the MLB, but you're still allowed to do that in high school ball, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
And
Ian
yep,
just did
there
it.
It is. There it is right there. The runners will move back. Ian will step back into the pitcher's mound, and he will step off. The umpire is explaining something to the third base coach. Maybe the third base coach does disagree with what you just said, Joe.
Yeah, maybe they are saying he was close to balking, or the move isn't available anymore. I know that was a real popular move back in the day.
And the pitch, and he will
Ian
step
did
off
it again.
Yeah, he'll step off again.
So I guess he was just close to balking, guys.
I guess I would have to say that too. The third base coach does not look happy with no ball call there, so I guess I would have to agree with you, Joe. Runner at third gets a nice lead off, and the first pitch of this long at bat already will be a strike.
Call it a steal if the Mustangs could hold Central to 1 run here.
And the runner will go to second, and he'll ground ball to short. And Central will get one, but the Mustangs will also get one. 2 outs now. 3-1 the score. Runner at second for the Vikings. And like you said, Joe, the trouble that they got earlier in the inning, we're going to be pretty happy if they just give up 1 run here.
You know, with starting out the runners at first and second with no outs, you're going to be happy if you get 1 out or just 1 run given up.
And Ian will step off the mound again as number 1 second baseman Nick LaCava steps into the plate. And here's the first pitch of the at-bat. It'll be a swing and a miss. Strike 1.
Out ahead of that one just a little bit.
Looks like he got this timing off, like you said, Richie.
Got some fastball, and it wasn't.
And Ian will deliver. And that'll be a fly ball to center. Alex Kurloff will make the catch, and like we said, we got to be pretty happy with the Mustangs only giving up 1 there after the trouble they got in after the top of the second. Your score, Mustangs 3, Vikings 1. Of course, we're not the only senior night that's going on soon. The girls' softball team senior night was the other day, but it got pushed back. It will be on Monday, I believe. They will have their last game on Tuesday against Fox Chapel. That will be pup night. All animals, half off, come to the stadium.
Out at Fox Chapel Field, right?
I got to call a couple of the softball games this year, not on the television, but over the PA system. And the team, like a lot of the other Plum sports teams this year, looked very good. Of course, our tennis
softball team's usually good. Softball team is, they're out there practicing right now. They're looking pretty good, getting grounders. Softball and baseball team are usually the strength of our high school. With the exception of this year, I mean, it's been incredible. I mean, the lacrosse team who just started 2 years ago just got their first win not too long ago, maybe a couple days ago versus Winchester Thurston. Good for them. Good for the lacrosse team. Football team made the playoffs first time in how long? Basketball team won the section. I mean, it's just been a great year for Plum sports, wouldn't you say?
Tennis team made the playoffs.
Tennis team, first year they made the playoffs in 15
Our
years.
boys volleyball team, arguably the best in Whippules, with the girls volleyball team also making the playoffs.
I mean,
and leading off for the Mustangs will be number 22, the second baseman Zach Martin.
Plum sports are really just
Taking off.
going great this year.
And he will bunt down to third base, and it will go just foul.
Be a great bunt there, guys.
I agree, Richie. Looks like he was going to beat that out. And the Vikings already have someone warming up in their pen right off to the sides. Looks like to be number 4. Number 4, if I can get it here in a second. Number 4, Jake McKee. And the current pitcher, he will look to pitch. And it'll be strike 2. Oh, I apologize, strike 3. I missed the second strike. Now we will go back to the top of the order. Number 12, shortstop, B.A. Brian Albert.
Brian got some speed too, so if he gets a slow roller, I mean, he could beat it out.
As we heard, hoping to play next year at IUP.
Yes, you are right, Richie. IUP. A lot of seniors looking to play baseball into their college days. And that'll be strike 1.
IUP's a pretty strong program for D2 baseball too for Brian, so good for him, you know.
Of course, some other people, Ian Miller looking to walk on at West Virginia. Jake Matola as there's the first ball of the at-bat. Jake Matola said that he's just going to try and play baseball as long as he possibly can.
Playing for Traveling Saints.
With Kirilloff. And BA will hit
That's
one
a nice
on the center
strike
field,
by
and that
BA.
ball's going back, and this one is gone.
What a hit by BA.
BA Brian Alberts. We said earlier, he has a lot of power, a lot of speed from that leadoff spot. And the Mustangs now 4-1 on senior day. BA, his last regular season game here, sending it off on a high note.
That's the deepest part of the yard, Logan. That's 377. Hit it right over that 377 mark out in right center field. Not a chance for the center fielder to get that ball.
Somebody run out and get that ball.
That is a ball that he will like to keep. As Ethan Weinsberg, the left fielder, number 23, will step into a bat. He already had a pitch. It was a strike. And here's the second pitch of the at bat. And it'll be strike 2. And guys, something that's interesting, the difference in how fast the pitchers deliver the ball, as Ian has stepped off a lot so far this game. Carlo has taken no time, as we already see the third pitch, and that will be fouled back, and it will just miss the cars. It will get one on the bounce.
Over there.
It will get one on the bounce. Of course, if your car does get hit, there's a special offer today's game. Free Eaton Park Smiley Cookie with the purchase of a meal and another Eaton Park Smiley Cookie.
You just got to show them the big hole in your windshield.
And try and prove that it is from the Plum game, and Ethan will strike out. There's the second out at the inning.
It's a nice off-speed pitch. Nice off-speed pitch by Carlo Cantiana right there. Caught Weinsberg leaning.
Saw him a little bit shaky in the first inning, second inning even, or second inning now, but maybe settling into a groove here a little bit.
We wonder, though, how long that groove will be. Already 4 runs. We saw one of their pitchers warming up here earlier. And there's strike 1 on number 19, Alex Kirilloff. Kirilloff.
Let's see if Kirilloff could get one here.
Arguably the Mustangs' best pitcher. He's playing center field today. And there's strike 2 on Kirilloff. Of course, I remember freshman year when Kirilloff came, and he actually started the Mustangs' first playoff game.
Been a great addition to this team.
Looking to be a 4-year letterman for baseball. As the third pitch of the at-bat comes in, and that'll be a ball high. Counts now 1-2.
Not only is he like just an outstanding baseball player, he's a big kid. You know, he's big, he's athletic, he got some muscle to him.
And that ball will be
Holy
foul.
Crap. He killed that.
It's crushed over the fence, but it will be foul. Over 322 feet. Like we said earlier, he had a 2-run game against Alderdice. The Mustangs unfortunately lost that game 4-2. And here's the next pitch, and that ball will be crushed again. Down the first base line for a foul. Still 1-2, 2 outs. 4-1 to score, nobody on base. And the pitcher loosens up a bit, and now he steps to the mound. Here's the pitch. Ball 2. That ball is high, counts now 2-2. Long at bat for Kirilloff. Another thing that impresses a lot of scouts, a lot of players, a lot of coaches, is how disciplined they are at the plate.
He showed great discipline here with 2 strikes.
And there's another foul ball.
The right fielder at this point just isn't even moving.
So now we look for the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Kirilloff steps out of the box, and he will readjust his gloves and step back in.
You know, in the MLB, you can't do that anymore.
Yes, that's right. New rule in the MLB, you're not allowed to, you have to keep 1 foot in the box at all time. As Kirilloff drives one to right field, and it'll go right to the right fielder. Your Mustangs will get one on the Brian Albert home run. After the second inning, your Mustangs lead it 4-1. Now, like we were saying, the new rule in the MLB, you have to keep 1 foot in the box at all time, like Richie, you pointed out. A lot of players don't agree with that. We saw earlier in the year, David Ortiz, probably the face of the league right now with Derek Jeter's retirement, came out and said, I'm not gonna follow that rule at all.
I mean, the fine's ridiculous. It's what, $20,000?
For stepping out of the box, yes.
That's pocket change for most of them.
I mean, and the thing is, you know, a lot of batters like to take their time, you know. They don't like when they get, you know, as they call it, quick pitched, which we saw earlier this year. Royals Ventura was what they say quick pitching. Got a ball right back to him, started a whole brawl, you know. And a lot of batters don't like that. They like to take their time, extend the at-bats. A lot of pitchers don't like that, and they want a quick pitch.
Ventura obviously appealing his suspension from that brawl. He pitched last night, or 2 nights ago, I believe it was.
And one thing that the league is trying to do is teach the athletes at a young age. As we saw, they implemented a pitch count in the minor league systems this year. I believe it's 25 seconds. Shortstop number 24, Antonio Febrero, lead off of the Vikings season number 9 hitter. We have top of the order coming up after him. Ian Miller out there for his 3rd inning work. And like we said, they implemented a pitch clock in the minor league games today. As the first pitch comes in, it'll be ball 1, low and away. And one of the things they have to do, if you want to start teaching players to not take that much time in the box, you have to start at a really, really young age.
Right.
Because when it gets to college and when it gets to the pros, if they've been doing that their whole lives, they're not going to want to change. But if they've been rushing to the plate their whole lives, then they'll be comfortable with doing it. As that pitch would be fouled away, it's now 1-1. Just 1 run allowed through 2 innings of work for Ian so far.
Nice pitch there.
Breaking ball. Just sits on the plate and then falls off of it.
I believe he has 2 strikeouts so far in this game. Ian looks. He will set and deliver. Foul ball.
Looks like he was reaching there a little bit. So 2 balls that Ian ended up getting 2 strikes on.
Yes, and you can argue even the last pitch that we saw, it looks like he chased it a bit. It could be 3-1 right now.
Or even a walk, for that matter.
Ian sets, he will deliver. And he chases another one. Ball is in the dirt, they will throw down to first, and they will get him. So Ian with his 3rd strikeout so far in today's game. 1 out now here in the top of the 3rd inning, and now up will be the left fielder, number 13, Chase Troutman. Looks to be batting from the left side of the plate. That's something that you always want to have on your team, a couple lefties. Of course, we have one in Nick Spubsatovic.
And Kirilloff, for that matter.
And Kirilloff. Arguably 2 of our best pitchers, both from the left side.
And a lot of kids at the, you know, the younger ages, not so much in the major leagues, but, you know, they sort of cower when they see a left-handed pitcher because you don't see much of them.
It's a different way of
That's
seeing
how I was when I played. I played up till 9th grade, but you see a left-handed pitcher, you're like, wow, this is different. And, you know, you aren't as comfortable up there.
Just seeing the ball come out of a different way.
Right.
It's coming from the left side rather than the right side.
Of course, major leagues, if you're a right-handed hitter, you'd love seeing a left-handed pitcher.
You can see the ball longer.
I mean, you look at Andrew McCutcheon, he's batting, what, 400 versus lefties career. I mean,
And that won't
some
be
guys love hitting lefties.
and that pitch will be a strike at the bottom of the strike zone. Counts now 1-2. It's the 4th pitch of the at bat coming up. And guys, a couple of the best pitchers in the league do happen to be lefties. Of course, Aroldis Chapman close the Reds, and that'll be a ground ball to first. It will call it fair. And I believe it's foul. It will call it foul.
We had the umpire back behind first base called it foul, and the home plate umpire actually called it fair. A little discrepancy there.
So the fifth pitch of the battle coming up, and like I just said, a couple of the best pitchers in the league. Of course, Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers, undisputably the best pitcher in baseball right now. Aroldis Chapman, the closer for the Reds.
And getting paid as such.
And that'll be strike 3 looking. Ian Mill with his 4th strikeout of the day as the Mustangs throw it around the bases. Now up will be the right fielder, number 14, Ryan Spruvy. Of course, today being senior day, as the first pitch is a strike. It's the largest crowd of the year. Estimated attendance adjusted to inflation is 30,000.
Not a lot of empty seats here, Logan.
Not a lot.
Had to sell some standing room only tickets.
And that is ball 1. Of course, it is Saturday, so it is Kids Day. We see a couple kids out in the
Kids
crowd.
Day at the ballpark.
We had the block party before the game down on Ellicott Road. A nice bouncy house.
And that will be ball 2. Count is now 2-1.
Nice matinee game too as well.
A couple kids getting pictures with Marty the Mustang.
And the seniors as well.
Yes, the seniors were out signing autographs. And there is ball 3. Count is now 3-1, 2 outs here. Top of the 3rd, still 4-1. Ian has kept the Vikings off the bases here. He will look. He will get set. And here comes the pitch. And that'll be a long fly ball.
Wow.
And that was almost on the softball field over the metal monster out and left.
Nice piece of hitting there by Troutman. I was not expecting that to go out.
And Troutman looking like a different baseball player
As we
with
see,
Trout in his name on that one.
as we see Jake Matolo out there giving a little piece of advice, maybe calming down Ian Miller. a little
Logan,
bit.
that was out of the ballpark, I'd say under 3 seconds.
That hit the car in the parking lot over there. Over the metal monster. Appropriately named.
The metal monster, which says home of the Plum baseball. The out-of-town scoreboard was taken down for today's game. 4-2 now here at Plum Field. And the pitch. And that was strike 1. So in the first pitch after the home run, Ian showing great recovery and be a strike and getting ahead of the batter early. Something
This
that needs to be
is
done.
Dorenzo, I mean, this is their big guy, so let's see how Miller responds.
That's right. Now up is number 7, the catcher, Dominic Dorenzo. And that will be the first ball of the at-bat. Count now 1-1. Still a 2-run lead after the home run. Ian looking to keep his win on senior day intact.
This one will get up and hit long.
Wow.
Kirilloff
Looks like a lazy fly ball, but it had a little bit more than that.
just carrying. He will catch it. And that'll be the end of the inning. So Central gets 1 on the home run, but other than that, Ian again striking out 2 and showing that he was looking good on senior day. And after the third inning, after the top of the 3rd, your score: Mustangs 4, Vikings 2.
And Logan Plum's got the 4, 5, 6 hitters coming up, so I'd like to see them build on this lead.
Some power coming up. Brandon Williams, we saw at a big one earlier. Nick Spudsatovich, the lefty hitter, batting cleanup today. And of course, my brother Austin Carney. Of course, some other big sporting events going on recently. The NFL draft started Thursday. It will be finished today. Kentucky Derby today. We talked about the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. The Pirates are still playing. And of course, we have our senior day here at the Mustangs, which beats them all.
Actually, no, obviously. But we have a Game 7 in the NHL today, or Game 7 in the NBA tonight with the Spurs and Clippers.
That's right. It's easily the best series in the NBA playoffs so far. My Boston Celtics were eliminated earlier. You know that they probably shouldn't have made the playoffs, but
Hey, at least your Boston Celtics weren't my New York Knicks. They have, I'm pretty sure in 82 games, they had about as many wins as the Plum Mustangs do in this baseball season. And we've played 17 games.
So Carlo Catania will come out for his third inning of work. Like we said, Nick Spud Satovich be leading off. So the Mustangs have someone in the bullpen warming up down there. It's first pitch, strike one. I don't know if you guys can see.
Looks like it could be Zach Nolan. It could. It looks like a big guy.
There's ball one. It's count 1-1. I agree with you. I originally thought it was Brandon Williams, but he is on deck.
Looks like it could be Zach Nolan, big right-hander. Throw some heat on the mound.
And there's ball two. Counts now 2-1. A lot of family and friends here today. We saw them earlier walking the field in the ceremony. 3-1 now. Be cool to see a lot of these seniors win today in front of their family and friends, and that ball will be ball four, and Nick trots down the first base. So the leadoff walk given up by Carlo Catania, and now up will be the DH, number 18, B-Dog, Brandon Williams.
You know, Logan, still it's obviously only the third inning, but looking a little fatigued on the mound there. Gotta wonder how much he's got left in the tank.
Well, we saw earlier he struggled to get through the first inning, and he gave up the home run earlier.
Thought last inning he might have settled into a groove a little bit, but obviously a walk here on 5 pitches, no less.
He looks to recover against B-Dog, and that will be strike one. Looks like he tipped it. So 0-1 the count. Runner at first now, still no outs. It's the second hitter of this inning. Spud leads off at first base.
As we know, Spud, a tall, lanky kid here. Long legs, got some speed to him. Wouldn't be surprised to see him try to take an extra base here.
Especially with the way the Mustangs have been running, specifically in the first inning of this one. It would not surprise me to see Spud take off here. Let's count 1-1. And that will bounce, and Spud will go to second. He'll get by the catcher. So another pass ball.
Did I get 5 on the game now, Logan? Or 4?
I think it's 3. It could be 5. I could be wrong. I believe it's 3. Maybe. You're right, Richie. It's 4. 4 pass balls.
As we see the catcher calming him down a little bit, maybe.
Got number 18. Looks like Jack Tamalti warming up right in front of our booth.
We might see him in later this inning. Runner at second now. Moved up on the pass ball. And B-Dog will swing through this one. Count now 1-2. 2-2. My apologies. And here's the pitch, and B-Dog will pop this one up to the shortstop. That was number 24, Antonio Febrero, the catch. Now the Mustangs third baseman, number 20, Austin Carney, steps to the plate.
Affectionately nicknamed Ace.
Ace. In my phone is Ace, believe it or not. My own brother.
Same here.
One of the few people in his nicknames in my phone. Even my own girlfriend's Alexis Savinda. First and last name. No,
Wow.
no emojis.
No emoji.
No emojis.
Wow.
'Cause the first pitch is a ball.
Hopefully she's not listening to the broadcast.
And that ball will go down to third.
Whoa.
And a great stop by the third baseman. He will not get the out, but that will keep Spud from moving up. And the Mustangs have first and second now on the infield single by Austin Carney.
It's a great stop there by Schaefer.
Great job to just knock the ball down there, if nothing else.
If that got through with Spud's speed and long legs, as we look to see maybe a pitching change perhaps,
Mountain is it here.
that could have been a run. We have seen the Mustangs test the right fielder's arm. We have not seen much of the left fielder.
Going back to Austin's nickname here, we have to wonder how a lot of these players get their nicknames. Like Spud, Nick Spud.
I want to know how Nick Satovich got the nickname Spud. Because he's been calling that since grade school.
Well, I remember
He doesn't even know.
a lot of it originated from, believe it or not, my dad, Mark Carney, when he was the coach of a lot of these guys. That's how a lot of them got their nicknames. I actually asked my dad the other day how Spud got his nickname. They called him that because of his brother, so they called him Little Spud. Was the original nickname. That will be ball one.
Your dad has nicknames for everybody, though.
He does. Especially for the people he doesn't remember their names.
That's him.
If you get called trouble, then that means he forgot your name. And that will be a ground ball to the pitcher, and they will get Spud at third. So the bunt will not do justice. And there will be one out. There will be two outs, my apologies.
Actually, there, thought he might have pulled off
Looking
the back
at-
a little bit.
Looking at Coach Vollmer right now, doesn't look very happy. I think he wanted the bunt to be down the third base line, but no serious damage done.
Now it will be a pinch. Be number 17, Jake Matolo, the catcher.
Wow.
And they will almost get Nick at first base. The pitcher winds, he throws. Austin looked like he was going to go down to third there, but the catcher made a nice block.
Bulmer sends it back as well.
Hey guys, one thing we haven't really talked about is Carlo's delivery. Looks like he slings it in there. As to watch here.
It is a little bit of a
Almost-
sling.
Yeah, almost ends a bit sidearm. Starts over the top, but almost ends sidearm. Reminds me a lot of Tony Watson, the relief
Buckeyes.
pitcher for the Pirates.
He actually, if you look too, on his stretch pitches, doesn't really come back that far.
No,
With
not
his-
at all.
With his lead foot.
He doesn't throw that high either.
It comes back about 5, 6 inches.
Get to see this delivery here again. We have foul ball. The count's now 2-2 with 2 outs.
I think a little bit of the genesis beside why he doesn't come back so far as, you know, if runners are stealing, gets a little bit of a quicker release that way.
You don't really see a lot of high school pitchers worry about runners on base, as do a lot of major league pitchers not named A.J. Burnett do.
I saw a stat the other day. I think last year he threw over twice.
Last time he was with the Pirates, all 2 times he was with the Pirates, only 2 caught stealing on him for the 2 years that he was with the Pirates prior to last year.
He's not much of a quick delivery person, let's just say that, from the stretch. He takes his good old time when he's in the stretch.
Well, we talked about the veteran hitters not wanting to change the way they hit. A.J. Burnett, veteran pitcher, knows that he could change it, but when you get to the age he is and the amount of years that he's been in the league, you probably just don't care that much about the runners on base. He looks at the runners and he will throw.
Ooh.
And a low strike call. Jake Matolo not happy with that one. And that will be the end of the inning. So after the 3rd inning, your Mustangs still lead it 4-2.
And Logan, we have a update here from the NFL draft. The Steelers in the 5th round have selected a tight end from Penn State, Jesse James.
A lot of people thought that the Steelers were going to get tight end Max Williams in the 2nd round. Of course, the Ravens traded ahead of the Steelers, and the Steelers ended up going corner.
Ravens are always sneaky, aren't they?
I mean, but definitely a quarterback was a better pick for them at this point because they needed a quarterback.
They just got another corner in the 4th. Pretty good steal pick. I believe Barron Jones is his name, from Ohio State. Good upside.
The corner they took in the 2nd round. Great statistics throughout college. 10 interceptions last year.
I was kind of surprised, Logan, they got a receiver in the 3rd.
Yeah.
I was a little surprising.
Yeah.
It's a bit surprising, but the way that they describe him is raw talent, so they do not expect him to contribute right away. My guess is that he's looking to be one of the top receivers once Martavis Bryant or Marcus Wheaton, my apologies, is ready to leave. And I was a bit surprised. I knew they needed a corner, but I was a bit surprised with the one they took. Like we said, amazing statistics throughout college, but just 5'8", real small guy. He gave up 4 touchdowns last year, 3 of them to receivers taller than 6 feet.
And going back to the pick, their 1st round pick out of the linebacker out of Kentucky, that would be instrumental for them to run that 4-3 or 3-4 defense. Got to have this quick linebackers.
I agree, Richie. As number 9, Joel Schaefer, we saw him make a nice play earlier at the last inning. He'll step to the plate. A lot of people were unhappy with the linebacker choice in the 1st round. Of course, I agree with it.
And a lot more people unhappy with the wide receiver pick.
Count now 2-0 as Ian Miller comes out.
Top of the 4th.
We see Zach Nolan still warming up down there. We believe it to be Zach Nolan. Looks to be and there's the first strike if you have bat on the 3rd pitch. 2-1 the account now on Schaefer. Ian sets. He will throw. And that'll be foul ball back. So 2-2 the count now.
See the stirrup socks for Schaefer in the box. A little bit of a retro throwback here. Don't see much of that anymore.
Unless you're going to a Pirate game on Sunday.
Oh, and a great play by the 3rd baseman, number 20, Austin
Big brother
Carney.
I like that play.
Probably the best last name in the business.
They call it the hot corner for a reason.
And we've seen 2 great plays by both 3rd basemen this past inning. The one coming in the bottom of the third, this one coming in the top of the fourth. And there's one out now. And there's the first pitch. We strike. It's count now 0-1. Ian getting ahead early like we've seen a lot so far this game. Batting for Central is 41, Patrick Ferguson. He is also wearing the high socks. Not stirrup, but even today you still don't see a lot of high socks.
Not that often, unless they want to change up.
And that ball will be crushed down to the left fielder. He at the wall.
Looks like Vivino
You're right, number 2, Taylor Vivino.
must have switched with Weinsberg.
It looks like they moved Weinsberg out to right.
Pulled Nick out of the game.
Yeah, I believe they might have taken Nick out of the game. And as we see the all-junior outfield, as we talked earlier about the future of the program, next year, 3 speedy juniors looking to parole that outfield.
I just noticed the whole infield is seniors.
And that ball will bounce, and it will stop.
Wow, that
It
ball
will
died.
just stop right in the grass. You do not see that often. That was number 44, Alex Hundiak.
A little bit of Tiger Woods backspin there on that ball.
And that was just unlucky for the Mustangs. But it is lucky that Alex did not try for second, as both Kirilloff and Vivino played the bounce. And for the first time, at least in my life, the ball just died as soon as it hit the grass.
I have to think maybe he got up underneath it a little bit, but
Now up,
low line drive.
now up will be number 32, Matt Monroe, their center fielder. As the first pitch comes in, that'll be a ball 1. A little bit of wind, as you can probably hear on the broadcast up here in the booth. Other than that, beautiful day today. Some clouds, but a lot of sun. The second pitch will be strike 1.
Great day for baseball.
Beautiful day for baseball, Richie. And we'll have the third pitch of the at-bat coming up. With the amount of rain and even snow recently, it's amazing that today, on Senior Day, it's beautiful out. And we have a Pirate update after the third pitch was called a ball. It's now 1-0 Pirates, your Buccos. Josh Harrison scores Polanco on a single to left, as that will be ball 3, 3-1. As Ian may be getting a little bit tired out there.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a pitching change soon here, Logan.
You do see someone up in the pen over there.
We believe it to be Zach Nolan. It is a little bit too far for us to confirm that, as that will be up the middle, and it'll be first and second now. But I do agree. I believe Coach Vollmer wants Ian to get out of this inning, since it is Senior Day and there are 2 outs, as Jake Matolo goes out to talk to him.
Looks like
Mr. Vollmer looks to be coming out. And that might be it for, I believe, yep, that is it for Ian Matolo.
We also have a pitch runner here coming in.
looks like Jake McKee is coming in.
Jake McKee.
Yeah, Jake McKee, number 4, you guys are right. And now we can confirm who.
That is Zach Nolan.
That is Zach Nolan, number 21. So Ian goes 3 2/3, strikes out 4, gives up just 2 runs, 1 home run. Of course, the 1 home run was just absolutely crushed. A great hit, great hit.
Looks like you see a little bit more speed on Nolan's fastball than you would Miller's.
Yeah, Ian really doesn't have any overpowering stuff. but the way he gets you is when he goes off speed. Definitely.
I agree. He's a smaller pitcher. Smaller pitchers don't usually throw very hard, but they can get you if they off speed easily.
I saw that a couple times today with Ian. 2 or 3 strikeouts.
4.
4.
Zach Nolan, big pitcher. Looks to use that fastball a lot. And something, Joe, you pointed out earlier, it is an all-senior infield. Austin Carney at third.
Brian, Martin at second, Satovich at first. Matolo's doing the catching today. And Miller was pitching, but now obviously we have a pitching change. Zach Nolan.
2 seniors that have not been used in this game. Mike Rajunti, some speeds. We'll probably see him come in later in the game.
Hopefully we'll get to see Philip Marr pitch hit as well.
Yes, Philip Marr used a lot as a pitcher this past year, but of course he is not available to pitch today.
Phil's probably one of Mustangs' best pitchers.
Probably see AK start that first game, that first playoff game.
Couldn't agree more.
And then maybe fill up that second game.
I do expect that also, Richie, as those are probably the 2 best pitchers we have on the team. Even though the Mustangs' depth at pitching, probably the best in Whippeals.
Like we see Ian today, on any other team, he could be a second or top of the rotation pitcher.
And now batting will be number 1, Nick LaCava. And he will hit this one deep to center field, and it will get in the gap, and Kurloff fumbles it, and he will throw, and they will not make the throw to catcher, and this is a tie ball game now.
First pitch off of Nolan.
Those runs will be charged to Ian, so his finish line today, he will go 3 2/3, 4 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 1 homer. Now up will be the shortstop, number 24, Antonio Fabrero.
That's a nice piece of hitting there by LaCava.
And the first pitch will be a strike. 0-1 the count.
And Logan, this is a game that, you know, in the beginning we had high hopes that the Mustangs would blow them right out of the water with the 3-0 lead. But that does not seem to be the case. The Pittsburgh Central Catholic Vikings, they aren't going away.
The game looks to be up to the bullpen now for both teams. 0-2 the count. As we saw earlier, Central warming up a couple of pitchers. One back in the second and one this past inning. So it'll be the first ball. The count will be now 1-2. So now we'll get to see which team has better depth of pitching, something that we talked about throughout this broadcast. The Mustangs, of course, have a lot of great pitchers. Central always has a great team and everything. And that'll be a hit to the shortstop, Brian Albert. He will throw to Spud, and it'll be in the dirt. A nice scoop by Nick Spud Satovich.
Wow.
Gets them out of the inning and saves a run. They will get 2 this past inning. And the score is now 4-4, all tied up here in the 4th. Mustangs looking to come up to bat.
Nice pick there at first base by Nick Spud Satovich.
We said this game is brought to you by the Plum TV channel, Plum Sports Network. We will be doing a lot of games next year. I'm Logan Carney up in my booth with my friends and seniors, Joe Nania, Richie Rossi, who will be broadcasting their last game. And guys, how does it feel to be broadcasting your last game?
It's a little surreal. You know, I was just brought into the broadcasting stuff this year, but truly has been a lot of fun. I'm going to miss you guys, you know. Unfortunately, Nick Pop Rocky couldn't be here today, but
Or Jake, because he's down on the field.
or Jake.
Nick Spud Satovich also
Spud
missing.
also on the field.
Cameron Kutzner.
Cam. Who knows where Cam is, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun over the year, and we'll be back to visit. Mr. Barad has already told us, we'll be back for make some visits, especially when at home. I'm not going to be too far up the road. I'll be at Slippery Rock University, so not too far from the old Mustang Dome.
And Richie, before I get your thoughts, we thought that Central will be going to a reliever. They will stick with Carlo. Number 18, Jack Tumley, is warming up in the pen. As Zach Martin comes out, looks to bunt, and they'll be strike one. Now, Richie, your thoughts on your last game.
I want to say Joey can agree with me on this one, that the broadcast booth's in good hands next year with Logan Carney up here calling the games. But, calling 4 different sports as we see a ground ball to the shortstop here.
Nice play.
Great play by number 24,
Doing 4 different sports.
Antonio Fabrero.
You definitely see some the diversity of Plum Sports and that they're good across every spectrum here. Like we did a wrestling match, we did football games, we did everything, and they won.
And guys, today's game is brought to you by Puree Water.
Brought to you by Alexis Savinda.
Brought to me by Alexis Savinda. And guys, I got to call, believe it or not, my first game as a broadcaster, as that would be ball 1, was baseball, as there's ball 2, and it was Kevin Agitola's and Ian Kiss' last game for broadcasting for Plum. And it's kind of interesting. Now my first game is play-by-play is your guys' last game.
It's been real.
And there's strike 1. Counts now 2-1.
Let's see if Brian can
There's the 3-1 here with
build off that last homer he had.
Homer was absolutely crushed to center field, and
Ooh.
well, that one will go sail over his head, and there'll be another walk issued by Carlo.
Now batting Mustang right fielder number 23, Ethan Weinsberg.
And they will throw over to first, but he will not get him. Ethan Weinsberg now to the plate. And guys, Central now has a new pitcher throwing. Number 12. There he is, right on the roster. Christopher
Did they just
Gabriel.
let Brian go to second, or was there a
I
balk?
think there might have been a balk there, Joey.
Okay.
I missed it. I was reading the roster.
Yeah, a little bit of a little balk there as he had a little flinch.
Now
He went
Ethan
into
will
the pitch.
show bunt. First baseman takes a couple steps in, and he will pull back, and there will be a ball low. So 2-0 now. Or 1-0, my apologies. So now see the third pitcher for the Vikings warm up in the pen. And there's a nice pitch, and they will throw, and that will get into the outfield. And Brian Albert, and the center fielder bobbles it, and BA will go home. And there's a throw to the plate.
He's
safe. He is safe. And a couple miscues by the Central Vikings, Central Catholic Vikings. The throw over the second baseman's head, then bobbled by the center fielder, who made a nice throw to the plate, but Brian Albert missed the tag. And what a break from the Mustangs. Now they'll take the lead 5-4. 2-1. The counts. And that one will be over the head. And we've seen the Mustangs take Carlo deep into counts. They have their third pitcher warming up. You wonder how much longer of a leash does he have? Of course, speaking of leashes, like we said earlier, Pup Night coming up for the softball team. Come support another Plum team that's made the playoffs.
Ooh.
And there's a hard hit, and this one just keeps going back. And it just keeps going back, and it will bounce down near the wall.
Weinsberg thought about 3 there.
And he will get into the second. And the Mustangs offense starting to come alive like we've seen back in the first inning.
Only one out here.
Just
Off the bat, Logan, didn't that look like a lazy fly ball?
It looked like it was going to be an easy out, but it just kept traveling and traveling and going and going.
Almost looked like we might be playing in Colorado here with the ball just carrying.
So we saw one earlier hit by a Central Catholic player, and as we see the second guy that was warming up for Central, number 18, Jack Toomley, come to the mound. In the final line for Carlo be a couple of strikeouts.
And Logan, we want to thank one
About
of our sponsors here, iHeartRadio, for the music up in the booth.
Yes, iHeartRadio. iHeartRadio. Now that's what I call music. Always those two supplying the music for us.
Yes, sir.
Now, Carlo will go 4 and my apologies, 3 and a third. Strikeout 2, walked 4, gave up a home run and 5 earned runs. As we start to get a little sun here in the booth, my arm is burning.
That farmer's tan, Logan.
Actually pitching, it's not number 18, Jack Toomley, who we have on the roster. It will still be number 18, but it is Mike. Who they said, Fresco? Fresco. He's not on the roster. I assume it is a JV call-up.
We actually have somebody who thinks it's Pup Night tonight behind us with the walking their dog here.
Yes, we've seen a couple dogs.
Must have forgotten that
We look
Pup
to
Night
see
yet.
these same dogs at the softball Pup
Hey,
Night
they're a little bit
coming up.
early, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to camp out. Tickets are hard to come by for the softball games.
Especially with the way the softball team has been playing and senior night coming up, Pup Night coming up, Kids Day today. We have seen a bunch of kids, especially over there on the Plum side.
They enjoyed the block party out down on Elliker Road earlier tonight.
You also see the JV team getting a little batting practice work in.
As the dog is making a run for it, and
Jeez.
making a run for it, and still making a run for it.
He's caught.
And here's the foul ball, the first pitch by Michael. It's a foul ball down the first base line.
I want to see Kurloff crankling right now.
Alex Kurloff, of course, we talked about him being one of the top players in Whipmules. Committed when he was a freshman to Liberty.
That's incredible, isn't it? As a freshman.
Huge Christian. And that is a high pop-up. And that'll be caught by the number 9, the third baseman, Joel Schaefer. And that was just a high pop-up.
Surprised it didn't bring any rain down.
It looked like it went through the clouds. And we talked about how Kurloff is a big Christian.
God might have held that
God,
ball up there for me.
he might have sent that one to the heavens. What it appeared to be. Yes, Kurloff. You talked to a lot of the guys on the baseball team. Surprised he committed to Liberty so early. A lot of them expected him to go to a big D1 school, if not the MLB. Is that his ball 1? 2 outs now after the Kirilov pop-up. Runner on second. And at the plate is Nick Spudstovich. And there's strike 2. Strike 1, my apologies.
1-1 there on the count, Logan.
There is another baseball team here today.
Looks to be Penn Hills maybe over there.
It looks to be Penn Hills. They might be playing the JV team at 4. As this one is a high foul ball. Hits the bleachers. Nice souvenir for the fans there, but of course they'll have to give it back, so the souvenir will only last a couple seconds.
It is a Viking fan, though.
It is a Vikings fan, as he made a run over there. And this
Good
ball
struck
carries
ball.
down to left field.
Oh!
And he will make a diving catch to end the inning. That was number 13, Chase Troutman. We saw with the long home run, and like we said earlier, he is starting to look like another Trout that we know of. Mr. Mike Trout of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. Stadium in Anaheim, but LA wanting the title to it.
Never understood that. Just be Anaheim.
So the Mustangs will get 1 there. And they will take the lead now 5-4. As Zach Nolan looks to come out for his first full inning of work. We saw him end the inning last time. Mustangs still going with the all-senior infield, minus Ian Miller, who we saw earlier today.
Look at that little pug down there.
She got off the leash earlier. I don't think her owner's got some a hard look on her now.
And she's chasing cars, chasing people, excited
Having a good
for
day.
pup night on Tuesday against the Fox Chapel Foxes.
Oh, now she's heard she got some food.
Yeah, she looks to be wrapping up her owner, maybe gonna try for another run of it. So we saw earlier. And guys, we saw a lacrosse game, young lacrosse game earlier. We talked about how well our sports programs are doing. The new lacrosse team, like you said earlier, Joe, they enjoyed their first win.
In program history.
And the guy that we just saw and just talked about, number 13, Chase Troutman, the left fielder, will step in and lead off against Zach Nolan. And here's the first pitch. It will be a strike to be right down the middle. Good pitch to start the at-bat. And we saw what is a growing lacrosse program. We see a couple kids with lacrosse sticks out here. As that pitch is ball 1-1. You see a couple kids with football as our football program just enjoyed their best season. Because that is a ground ball, bounce ball to BA, and see they will just barely get the runner.
Strong arm there by Brian Albert.
Central does not like the call, but there is no replay in high school.
The next batter is Vikings
No
right
challenge
fielder
there
number
for
14,
the coach.
Ryan Sproul.
And it will be the first out. We saw the strong arm by BA showed off there. Also a nice catch by Spud. It was close to the dirt there. And here's the pitch by Zach Nolan. I'll get inside for ball 1. Look to see more people flock to the ballpark. It's like we said, estimated attendance adjusted to inflation, 30,000. So that'll be
Tough play.
tough play by Austin Carney. We saw him make that nice catch earlier. He will not get this one. And there'll be a runner at first now. That will be
that's MLB. That's MLB stuff there. You gotta bare hand that.
Yeah, it's
See,
really tough.
You
Even if
rarely
he made
see guys be able to. That's just a tough situation for the fielder.
even with him making the play. The speed from number 14, Ryan Sparuvi, who was up, it did not look like he would be able to get him, so we will roll that an infield single. Now up will be number 7, Dominic Dorenzo, the catcher. So that ball will get by. Yeah, it looks like it was tipped back as no runners will move, and Jake will walk to get it. So runner on first now, 1 out. The first pitch a strike. You're right, Richie, it was tipped back. And Zach Nolan will throw first, and they did not get him.
That throw was perfect.
It looked to me like
nice
they
and
just
low.
barely beat it. And the Vikings, as Zach Nolan threatens to throw to first, perhaps some mind games. Now the lead will be a bit shortened. We saw his speed displayed, and he will go. And
See if Jake
will
throw
get
him
there
out.
and it will just get by the shortstop, Brian Albert, who was running. Just barely missed. Just a little bit higher by Jake, and that would have got him. There'll be a runner at second now. That pitch was a ball, I believe.
Yeah, that little low
Count now 1-1, and that pitch is a ball. That is up high, 2-1. Only showing 1-1 on the scoreboard, but we believe the count to be 2-1 with 1 out. 5-4 lead for your Mustangs. If you're just joining us. Zach Nolan checks the runner. He will pitch, and there'll be strike 2. So 2-2. Now the count. So we do see the Plum JV team warming up. They will be playing at 4 o'clock against Penn Hills, rivalry game. And there's the pitch. His ball low.
Call that the Salzburg Road rivalry there.
Salzburg Road,
380.
very big in football. Of course, now the Plum moved out of their section a couple years ago. They have not played. They did meet in the playoffs. Joe, you
Car.
probably.
Oh.
And that hit the roof of a, that looks like it actually went in the
Oh.
car as the sunroof was down.
Wow.
So it actually bounced off of the moonroof and bounced into the car,
Ooh.
as now the car will get a souvenir.
Richie, if that's your car, oh my.
We believe Richie Rossi's car.
Is that really your car?
I think.
So Richie
Don't
will
look
be
for me to be parking over there.
will be driving home with a souvenir.
Hey, you
As
got a souvenir
Dominic
from
gets
Dom
hit,
Dorenzo.
as gets hit, and he will be at first base now. So first and second with 1 out. And we hope that there is no damage to Richie's car. Otherwise,
I don't know if that was.
you might expect
The
to
alarm would have gone off if it was.
you might expect a bill in the mail, Dom Dorenzo. That pitch is a strike to the next hitter, number 9, third baseman Joel Schaefer.
Number 9, Joel Schaefer.
Saw him make a couple nice defensive plays earlier, saving a run. And Zach will step off the mound, and the runners will go back. So far in this inning, no runs, 1 out, 0-1 the count, and Richie Rossi gets a souvenir baseball.
Ooh.
And there's 1-1.
Mustangs in a little bit of trouble here. Only 1 away.
pitch, and that is a hard hit to center field.
Oh,
It will get by
no.
Kurloff. 1 run will score. The second one will come home. He will score. And they're going to 3, and here's the throw, and it will get by Austin.
Wow.
Tough play by Austin Carney. So a 2-run triple by Joel Schaefer. And so far, it has been a Schaefer and Troutman game for the Vikings. We saw great defensive plays and great hits by both of them. It's now 6-5. And now up will be the first baseman, number 41, Patrick Ferguson.
This would be a huge upset win for the Vikings if they were to pull off this victory.
Vikings always have good teams, but this year they are 7-4. Of course, the Mustangs ranked number 2 in Whippeal's their 15-2 record. I saw the Mustangs struggle a bit into the games. So, count is now 0-2, 1 out on Ferguson. The lefty. We've seen a couple lefties in Central's lineup. And that one is a hard foul ball. That one will travel onto the football field, I believe. As we can see from the booth, Joe Nania trying to find the ball.
Looks like it's in the tennis courts.
It's in the tennis courts. A long foul ball behind the backstop, and there will be strike 3. And Zach Nolan will get, I believe, his first strikeout of the ball game. Now 2 outs, 6-5 Central lead on the 2-run triple by Schaefer. And now up will be the designated hitter, number 44, Alex. They will actually be pinch hitting. Be number 4, Jake McKee. We saw him coming in left field earlier, I believe. Played a bit of left field. It's also warming up in the bullpen.
It is warming up.
It's the second ball. Count 2-0, 2 outs. 5th inning of play. And there's a foul ball back. 2-1 the count now. And guys, we've seen this. We've seen a lot of comebacks, especially by our Mustangs, as there were a couple down in Florida earlier this year. You guys couldn't go, but with Austin being my brother, I got to go. They actually played a team. So that pitch is 3-1. They actually played a team from the Dominican Republic, and you guys might not believe this, but they threw 90 to 94 miles an hour.
Wow.
For high school, that's quick.
For high school, it is very quick. As there's strike 2, now we have a full count now on the pinch hitter, Jake McGee. See pinch hit for number 44, Alex Hundiak, the designated hitter. And guys, another thing, believe it or not, they got off to 11-2 lead. The Mustangs got off to 11-2 lead on pitchers that threw 90-94. As there's strike 3, and Zach Nolan will get 2 strikeouts to end what was trouble.
You know what they say, Logan, the harder they throw, the harder it gets out of there.
Couldn't agree more, Joe. You can see how pumped up the Mustangs were in that game. If you could see.
Just now getting word, guys, that wasn't actually my car. It was the one next to my car.
So Richie Rossi would not be going home with the souvenir.
Darn.
Did you have your sunroof open?
Yeah, I guess the one next to me, too, did.
Wow.
Getting word from Adam Marr down there on the side.
Adam Marr, Philip Marr's brother, he was on the field earlier today. He is a baseball player too. Tall, lanky.
Basketball as well.
Plays basketball, can dunk. Just a sophomore, can already dunk. We saw him come in a couple of times earlier. We'll be going to the bottom of the fifth.
Central leading at 65.
Central took the lead on the 2-run triple. It looks to be that there's some changes out there. I believe they're... Leading off for the Mustangs this inning, be number 14, Robbie Deemer. Robbie Deemer.
Also a basketball player.
I do not have word on who he's pinching hit for. This is strike one. It looks to be Austin Carney on deck. So it looks like Brandon Williams, the senior designated hitter for today, might be out of the game. There's strike two. Robbie, tall, has a lot of speed. Like Richie said, plays basketball, looks to be one of the leaders in next year's team, along with Taylor Favino, who's also a baseball player, and he swings to the third one. That will be strikeout number 2 for the new Central pitcher, who we saw a little bit last inning. And now up, the third baseman, red-headed menace, Austin Carney.
Now batting Mustang third baseman, number 20, Austin Carney.
And there's strike one. Of course, Austin Carney, having one of the best last names in the business.
Coincidentally similar to yours, Logan.
Very similar.
Even spelled the same.
It's almost weird. We actually even share the same building. As there's another pitch for ball. And there's a strike. I believe the count is now 1-2. It says 1-1 on the scoreboard.
But yeah, that was a swinging strike, and then we hit the called first strike.
And that one will be high down to right field, and their second baseman will fall down as the right fielder calls it, and they'll be out number 2. So far, what we've seen from the seniors, they are looking very good. We saw Brian Albert with the home run earlier. Ian Miller pitched well. Now Taylor Vivino steps in for his first at-bat. He came in for Nick DiPastino earlier. That is ball 1. On deck, it looks to be number 24, Alex Terrell, with his catching gear on. Looks like Jake Matolo might be out of the game. We don't like to speculate. And here's the next pitch. And it'll be fouled to the backstop. So 1-1 now the count. Taylor, as you know, Richie, has some serious speed.
Yes, as we've seen in basketball season, point guard.
So he does not need to hit it far. He can probably even
Keep it in the infield if it's slow enough.
and count now 1 and 2 on Vivino.
Pitcher steps off here.
And there's the pitch. And that will go to the shortstop. And it will get by the first baseman. And Vivino, like we said, has enough speed to get those infield hits. He will beat this one out. Now the Mustangs have a runner on first.
And that's actually going to be key here. I mean, even though that was the Mustangs being down 1, that could be the game-tying run there. But with two outs, it just prolongs the inning, makes the pitch count get up there a little bit. Hopefully, though, we see Alex Terrell here, who's just coming into the game, get which will end Jake Matolo's senior day.
That will.
Have to still wonder if we'll see Phillip, though, in the last 2 innings. Maybe pinch hit.
Still haven't seen Phillip Marr along with senior Mike Raggiunti. We'll probably see them a little bit later.
Strike 1 there is called.
So there's a strike. 0-1 the count on Terrell. Vivino leads off of first. And there's the pitch. And Terrell hits one deep to left field. And this one is on the softball field, and that one is gone. Alex Terrell, the sophomore, as he is clapping round in second. Take your time, Terrell. Huge home run here to take the lead. 7-6, Plum Mustangs. It looks like the future catcher of the Mustangs team crushes one out onto the softball field over the metal monster we have. Over 320 feet is what it looked like. And now up be another new hitter, junior number 4, Tommy Zumo. As it looks like Zach Martin may be out on his senior day too. But the Mustangs, 2 home runs today. We saw BA hit one early. And Alex Terrell crushes that one over the metal monster. On senior night, on Kids Day.
Must have ate a couple extra hot dogs down there at the block party down on Elliker Road.
Of course, Frank's Hot Dogs supplying a lot of power. That one is a strike. Count now 2-1.
High in protein.
There's two things that help out athletes the most. It's Frank Hot Dogs and Skechers. They've been scientifically proven to make you run faster. Hot Lights. Count now 2-2 with 2 outs. I apologize for all the cross promotion we are doing today's game. 3-2 now. But as Plum TV crew knows, we have a lot of sponsors. Be fouled to the backstop.
Make the count 3-1 there.
Seven and 6 the score. Mustangs lead it on the home run by Terrell. And this one will be a high foul ball. It would not. It looked like it was going foul, but it will stay in the field of play. It will be caught by their left fielder. But after the 6th inning, and now they will be going into the last inning to lead 5th inning, my apologize, they changed the scoreboard on me. Richie corrected me. But after the 5th inning, the Mustangs take the lead back on the 2-run shot by Alex Terrell. We will now have, after the 5th inning, the usual Sweet Caroline. Try and get you some fan picks here sent in to us from people at the game.
Hashtag Mustang scoreboard if you want to tweet your pictures there. Diamond here for this song.
Neil Diamond, very outspoken Plum fan, as we know.
I'll tell you what, guys.
Before you say that, now up will be number 32, Matt Monroe. Now go ahead, Joe.
That ball by excuse me. That ball by Alex Terrell was absolutely crushed. Saw it from a different point of view down there, and wow.
Of course,
You
Joe
could tell right off the bat.
did a little sideline reporting as that is a ball 1. Joe, what'd you find out on the sideline?
Hey, things are going great, you know.
They properly hydrated down there.
Oh, yeah.
Sunflower seed supply enough.
You better believe it.
Of course, popular hydration that is thanks to Water by Puree. Brought to me by Alexis Savinda. Brought to you by Sheetz or any other convenience store that you can find. And
As we get a guest in the booth here.
Coach Carl Vollmer will go out and talk to Zach Nolan, the righty, as he falls behind 2-0. Vollmer returns to the dugout. Zach Nolan steps back on the mound. And here's the pitch. It's ball 3. 3-0 now.
That was some heat, though. Heard that glove smack from up here.
And as guys, if I can give a little update here. Pirates pitcher, let me get the name here.
Pretty sure it's Garrett Cole today.
Is it Garrett Cole today?
Should be.
Francisco Liriano, in 5 innings, has a no-hitter.
Ooh.
We hope Richie talking about it did not just ruin it.
Yeah, knock on wood up here.
Now you guys know who to blame, you Pittsburgh fans, if Liriano's no-hitter is unsuccessful.
He's got
Zach,
I'm sorry, continue though.
Zach Nolan walked number 32, Matt Monroe, on 4 pitches. Second baseman number 1, Nick LaCava, steps in. As you saw, the first pitch was a ball. Now go ahead, Richie.
I was misstatted there. He still has the no-hitter, but I was going to quote a stat. Wasn't true, so didn't want to say it.
We saw yesterday, it was on, not really that well known, but A.J. Burnett passed Sandy Koufax on career strikeouts.
Maybe more well known was Alex Rodriguez passing Willie Mays as they get the out there at first.
The runner will move up to second. 1 out now. And yes, Alex Rodriguez passing Willie Mays.
With his 660th home run.
Of course,
Wow.
Mays tweeted out a little bit later congratulating A-Rod, saying that Milestones are meant to be broken.
Don't we know that that's the truth?
As most people do say, whatever their record are broken.
It's number 8, Antonio Falbo will bat for Antonio Febrero.
Strike one there. Swing.
Count now 1-1. I believe, actually, no, the scoreboard just not been changed since the last at bat. There's a pitcher. There's strike 2. There's a pitcher warming up in the bullpen for the Mustangs.
Too far away to tell who it is.
And strike 3 looking. He will look at 3 pitches and get struck out in 3
That is
pitches.
Phil. That looks like Phil.
It looks to be Philip Marr. I was told earlier that he would be unavailable to pitch today.
I thought that stance looked like Philip. But
Yeah,
actually said
it
that
does
he,
look like Philip.
You can see his breaking pitches from here. Just filthy. It's now
No
up.
pun intended.
It's now up will be
Filthy.
number 13, Chase Troutman.
Ball one in the dirt.
Troutman, of course, we've said this earlier, like another trout that we know of, that is a man.
Not a fish.
Ball 1, the last pitch. And that will be a ball in the dirt too, so 2-0 now. It's like Nolan falling behind early again. He has looked good so far though, a couple strikeouts. The overpowering right-hander. Here's ball 3. Just missed a little bit. Looked good from up here in the booth, but I'm just a broadcaster.
What do we know?
3-0 now. This looks to be most likely a fastball down the middle, as it is. And Troutman taking it as every good hitter does. So 3-1 the count now.
Should we get to the hitter's pitch?
2 outs. Hitters count. 7-6, your score here in the 6th. And there's a ground ball to BA. And he will throw
Ooh,
in the stretch
nice
by
stretch
Spud. We've seen him make a couple nice plays earlier. There's another one. The tall, lanky first baseman stretches, and they get Troutman. So after the top of the 6th, your Mustangs lead this one 7-6. As the music plays over the loudspeaker, over the PA system.
As we see our the pup down here taking a little nap on the grass.
He is resting up for
night.
pup night, which, like we said, pup night at the softball game Tuesday. Is Kids Day here, as it is every Saturday game, as we see a couple kids walking right beneath us.
With signed Plum Mustangs jerseys down there.
Yes, they got Mustang jerseys from their favorite senior. The seniors were out signing autographs earlier. Because us here in Plum really love our baseball. One of the best programs around, and not just Whippeals, but all of Pennsylvania. You will not find many more successful programs like our Mustangs. Back on the dog, as we know you care a lot about him. He's now up and walking. He is okay. Maybe we can get a nice picture of him for you. A nice pug. Getting ready for pup night. Pug night was earlier in the year. Saw about 10 pugs out on that night. And one thing that I like to point out in the broadcast is the amazing view you get from the stadium up here at the top of the hills. You will not find many nicer stadiums than this one here at Mustang Field. Number 12, Brian Albert. Of course, he had that home run earlier, steps to the plate.
The long ball we've seen today is very, very effective.
So that one is ball one. I agree, Richie. Central had a home run to left field. That was Troutman. Brian Albert had the deep one to center, and Alex Terrell also had one crushed to left field over the Metal Monster.
See if the Mustangs here can.
Nice struck me
And
ball.
B.A. Brian Albert hits the double to center. And he has had a great day here on senior day.
He's wearing his PF Flyers, getting to second base there with a double.
And now up will be number 23, Ethan Weinsberg. Another outfielder stepping to the plate.
Now batting
Now we'll see if the
Mustangs, right
Mustangs
fielder,
can
number
pour onto that
22,
lead a little bit.
Weinsberg.
Give a little bit of a cushion there.
You'd like a little more than a one-run cushion going into the last inning.
A little bit of wiggle room.
It looks like the central catcher is going out to talk to the pitcher. We see another pitcher warm up down here as number 25, Nolan Martino.
We also see a pinch runner come in for the Mustangs.
Looks to be number,
Could be Rajunti.
I believe it's number 8, Chris Monroe. So
For
look,
the Mustangs, number 8, Chris Monroe.
Yep, Chris Monroe.
it's number
Good
8,
call.
Chris Monroe. It's number 12, Brian Albert walks out to the mound to warm up. So looks like he might be coming in later.
Close this game out for the Mustangs, hopefully.
We thought we saw Phillip warming up. Looks like they might go as BA's pitch misses wide and
Looks
goes
like
into the
BA
infield.
might be warming up now.
So he threw that one like an outfielder would, and it just sailed right into the infield. And Coach Carl Vollmer picks up his souvenir as he hauls it back to his senior pitcher. And the pitcher will step off the mound.
We hear a vocal Coach Vollmer down there right now.
Pitcher checks the runner. He will throw, and it'll be strike one. First pitch to this at bat. So the Mustangs look to add on to their one-run lead, as we said earlier, going into the last inning. On senior day, this could be a big win against a team and a rival that's always good, like Central. So there's strike two on Ethan. Central pitcher has been checking the runner twice, just like Santa Claus. Of course, checks his list twice.
Proud friend of the broadcast there too.
Another proud friend. It is Kids Day. He was here earlier,
Handing out mini baseball bats.
taking a break as this one is popped up to the second baseman. It will be caught for the first out, I believe, the first out. Now up will be the center fielder, number 19, Alex Kurloff.
AK affectionately named.
So you can hear, like Richie just said, some of the Mustangs players saying, "Let's go AK," as they'll just intentionally walk him.
Probably a good move here.
Set up the double play and avoid their Mustangs, what has been their best hitter statistically. Number 16, Nick Spud Sitovich, who's made that nice play at first. We've seen him make great plays all throughout the game. He'll step up to the plate.
Spud another change of pace here, get another lefty in here.
Looks like Spud's showing bunt.
He will bunt down. He gets a nice bunt down the third base line. He might beat this out. He will beat this out. And the bases are loaded now. Just one out.
That's a great call by Coach Vollmer, because the Mustangs are known, Logan, to fake bunt and pull back. That's exactly what the first baseman was thinking. They were thinking Spud was going to pull back and hit. Not the case this time. First baseman was caught sleeping, and so is the third baseman.
And a good sell there by Nick Spud-Satovich to bunt, showing bunt down first base, but then putting it between pitcher and third base.
And now, number 14, Robbie Deemers steps up to a situation that all hitters love to hit. And 1 out, bases loaded.
Bottom of the sixth.
Could add on to the lead here. And he'll step off as the catcher goes to the mound, perhaps to go over some signs. Remember, you are watching this game on the Plum Sports Network, where it's almost all sports all the time.
Presented by S&T Bank.
As we hear the Sandlot theme song come on in the background, number 25. We saw warming up earlier, Nolan Martino comes in the pitch. Coach wanting to talk to the whole infield. Of course, it's not baseball without the Sandlot theme. And a little Pirates update, the Cardinals just tied it 1-1 in the bottom of the sixth. So like we said earlier, if you want to blame someone for ruining the no-hitter, blame Richie Rossi with the Pirate updates. He already avoided a souvenir in his car. Unfortunately.
Fortunately that my car didn't get hit. Need to make sure next time that I'll let all the baseballs know that
And guys,
that's a car.
as we come into the last inning of the seniors' last game, what are the emotions that are going through their heads right now?
You know, coming down to the last stretch, obviously, you want to get this win. That's what it all comes down to. Is their senior night going to be memorable for a win, or is their senior night going to be, oh, I wish we would have won that game?
They will be pitching a senior to close it. We saw Brian Albert warming up. Nick Martino is now ready as he steps in the pitch. 14, Robbie Deemer with the bases loaded, facing the new pitcher. And there's strike one. Martino, a right-hander. Liking this matchup, but not the situation. And there's the pitch. And there's a pop-up.
Calling field fly rule here, guys.
And Nick Martino, just 2 pitches, gets Deemer to pop up. And now here we have a senior, third baseman, Austin Carney.
Wouldn't this be storybook, huh?
He did not fill out the best baseball memory section of his questionnaire. This could be it.
Good call.
And the pitch. Strike.
Ooh, that
The
looked a
bottom of the
little,
strike sound. We up here in the booth think that it was a little low. But again, like previous stated, I'm just a broadcaster. And there's ball one, 1-1 now. 2 outs, bases loaded. The catcher goes out to talk to Nick Martino. Nick Martino, good baseball playing name. Just sounds like a baseball player. And the only better name, like I've been stating, is the one. The last name of the hitter that's up, I apologize, is Nolan Martino, as Richie Rossi points out to me. Nick Martino is a reliever. And Austin Carney hits one down the center. 1 run will score. Another one, throw to the plate, and it will score standing. And Austin Carney, my brother, the redheaded menace, scores
like
2 on the single.
That's big. That's huge for the Mustangs.
There will now be a 3-run lead. And BA's save opportunity looks to have just gotten easier.
Let's add some more. Let's see
Now
if
up
Vivino can get one.
is the outfielder, number 2, Taylor Vivino. Speedy Vivino. We saw him beat out an infield single earlier. So that pitch is low for ball 1. The Mustangs offense came alive again today as they put up 9 runs so far.
Obviously, this would not be a safe situation here if more runs would come in.
I want to see Terrell bat again.
Terrell had the big home run earlier.
Oh, that man
the
just saved a
fan.
car.
A fan throwing his body in front of a car. He did not end up with the catch.
And that's a caddy out there, too. Wow. What a guy.
So our fan of the day,
Presented
See
by
the mi-
Subway.
the Subway fan of the day,
Well, we don't know his name, but if
he
we
can
had
now
it,
go get a $5 sandwich at Subway.
For $5.
And there will be a ground ball to short, and that will be the end of the inning. So, on the 2-run single by Austin Carney, the Mustangs extend their lead from 7-6 to 9-6. As we go into the last inning of the last day, Jake Matolo comes back behind the plate as these seniors come out. Look to see, I believe that's Ian Miller will be taking shortstop. Austin Carney back out to third. And we like to extend our appreciation for the seniors here today. So we like to read their names off. Austin Carney, Ian Miller, Brian Albert, Brandon Williams, Philip Marr, Nick Spudsatovich, Jake Matolo, Nick DiPastino, Zach Martin, and Michael Regenti. Past 4 years, these 10 players, given it that they're all, they will be returning to the playoffs.
wonder how many straight years Plum baseball's been to the playoffs.
And Jake Matolo went out to warm up the pitcher. Terrell comes out now as the catcher. What a year it has been. If they can hold this lead here, as number 12, Brian Albert, looks to do so,
And
and they will
guys,
improve to 16-2.
Brian is the hardest throwing pitcher on this team. And well deserving of the closing role today.
We've
Yeah.
seen Philip Marr close a lot so far this year. Like we said, he is unavailable to pitch. We thought he was warming up earlier.
And actually, we see Central getting confident here, having another pitcher warming up down here. Number 29, Christian Waldron.
We have top of the order coming up for Central. My apologies, will be the 2, 3, 4 hitters. Number 14, Ryan Spruvey steps up. And the seniors all go out. If you are taking photos of your TV right now, and you want to get a picture of a great group of guys, that is it. Of course, only 2 positions filled right now in the infield that are not seniors, and that is the catcher, Alex Terrell, and the second baseman, Tommy Zumo. We stated earlier the future of this great team. And the first pitch, and there'll be a ground ball down to the third base. And Austin Carney saves it from being a foul ball, and there's out number 1. 1 away.
Just 2 more outs, hopefully, left in the high school careers of these great players.
You got to expect Brian to want to get out of here fast as possible.
Ball 1. Dom Dorenzo, the hitter. The catcher, we stated earlier, is one of the best players in Whitfield. Hasn't done much today, as he will hit a bouncer, second baseman Tommy Zumo. 2 away.
And it's just easy work for the Mustangs right now. They're just throwing it around and having fun.
1 more out, guys. That's all we need.
Now up, Joel Schaefer. He's seen him make a couple nice hits, a couple nice plays. We stated earlier, for Central, it's been a Troutman-Schaefer day. So those two really giving it their all. Ooh, so that ball runs up and almost hits him. Ball 1. 2 outs. Joel Schaefer to bat. Brian Albert to pitch. Ball low. 2-0. And guys, we will again like to extend our gratitude to the effort put out by these seniors. So that ball will be
Just off the plate.
just barely a ball. Looks like a strike from here, but it'll be 3-0. So we'll likely see a pitch right down the middle here. In a 3-run ball game, you might see Schaefer get the red light. He will not, and it will not be in the strike zone. And there is the first walk issued by Brian Albert.
Don't wanna send the tying run to the plate right now.
And
Leave him on deck.
a big first baseman comes in. Number 41, Patrick Ferguson. Lefty on righty matchup. You do not like these things if you're the team that's on the mound. And BA will step off. He'll step back on. He looks. He gets set. And the pitch. Strike. Looks like it just hit the strike zone, the bottom of the strike zone. Nice pitch by BA. Nice to start the bat and get ahead. And nice recovery from the 4-pitch walk. And the pitch. It'll be a ball inside. 1-1 now, 2 outs. Top of the 7th. BA looking to close it out. 9-6 lead for the Mustangs. And that will bounce. Two one the count. 2 outs. And there's the ground ball to short. And Ian will toss it to second. Tommy Zumo. And that is the ball game. And that's all she wrote. The win will go to Zach Nolan. 9-6 Mustangs victory on senior day on the last game of the year. And guys, what are your thoughts in today's game? I'll start with you, Joe.
Just an overall great effort by the Mustangs. They got down a little bit, but we know how good the Plum baseball program is, and they were able to rally. And it was just great to see 10 of those guys go off their senior night with a win.
Richie, your thoughts?
Yeah, just another great win here. Good little tune-up for the playoffs, going in an on-section game here. But, yeah, that's about it.
Yes, we see Another chapter of this rivalry has just been written. The Mustangs on senior day win this one 9-6. From all of us up here in the booth, I'm Logan Carney. I was with Richie Rossi, Joe Nania, and TV teacher Mr. Todd Lavars. We'd like to thank you for watching today's broadcast. Join us next year, as we'll be covering all sports. And once again, thank you, and congrats to all the seniors on today's game. Goodbye.